Chapter 39. Jessica, age 25, white, October 15th, 2025. I met Jessica at the No Kings rally. Cute, shoulder-length hair, thoughtful vibe. She was with her mother and a friend. Jessica looked like she could be one of the youngest people present, and I wanted to know what brought her out. I asked her for an interview, but then turned straight away to her mother for permission. Her mom said it was completely up to her. That's when I found out Jessica was 25. I thought she was in high school. The other young lady with them was her girlfriend. As we talked, car horns continued to blare and people cheered from their cars, some supportive, some not so much. But most seemed to celebrate the spirit of the gathering. When I asked Jessica what had brought her out, she told me, "I truly believe in peaceful protest. I want people to have a good view of people that do protest. I don't want it to be all questionable people with masks on. It paints a bad rhetoric." She paused, thoughtful. At the core of it, that's what democracy is. Being able to go out and talk about what you believe in. I nodded. And hopefully you can talk and still be at peace with everybody who comes out to counter-protest. I told her that's always my concern, especially for young people who show up to stand for what they believe in. Jessica told me she's seen videos online warning protesters to be ready to die or be ready for tear gas and rubber bullets. "I think that's not optimal," she said quietly, and I laughed gently at the understatement. I wondered aloud what she was most proud of. Her answer was simple. Just trying to be a good person every day. I think it's a continued effort that we all do. I love that, and I told her so. I shared I was most proud of my children, not because of any big accomplishments, though they are all doing well, but because they are good human beings. I looked at both her mom and her and told them, "Good job." And then, after a moment, I said, "What do you fear most?" She didn't hesitate. As a younger queer person, I'm afraid of the political climate in America shifting so gradually that it goes from gay marriage being legalized to people being rude online, to people being mean on the streets, to something worse. She stared away for a moment. If I'm openly queer online, people could find me. They could find my home. They could find the people I love. That's terrifying. Her words made me think how easily us and them can become something else, something sinister. That's part of why I started Truth Rises, to combat that, to remind us that we're all just people. I told her about a man I'd interviewed. He was on the opposite end of the political spectrum. He was grieving his sister's death. In that moment, politics couldn't have mattered less. I was a human being bearing witness to another human's tremendous loss, allowing him new space to grieve. Jessica nodded. Yeah. Next, we talked about where she saw herself in 10 years. She smiled shyly and said she wanted to be financially comfortable, able to go to the grocery store without checking her bank account, just making little improvements in life, like finally getting a holder for the soap. It was such a pure, relatable answer. I told her I remembered thinking when my children were young and money was tight, how much I'd love to have all those cute little bathroom accessories other people seemed to have. When the conversation ended, I thanked Jessica for her openness and genuineness, and her mom and girlfriend for their patience. They were going off to celebrate their birthdays, just days apart, before Jessica went back home a few hours away. What stayed with me later was the uplifting feeling of community. Across 39 interviews, I've met people who agree with me and people who don't, but that's never been the point. Honest to goodness, so much truth rises when you see someone simply as another person. Like today, even in a space where we shared a common cause, Jessica and I didn't share every belief, but none of that stood between us. I just know I really liked her and her family. They were kind and warm and real. We talked, laughed, and shared conversation. Ordinary people living out the belief that connection is stronger than fear, realizing we are at our best when we allow ourselves to see our own humanity reflected in others. This is truth, and truth always rises.